All right, guys, we're back. The first stream the power went out, so that's no good. And we couldn't continue, unfortunately, so we're trying again. So while I'm getting set back up, which is very frustrating because I had it all lined up to where all I had to do was click submit a few times. I was really prepared ahead of time, and the universe was like, yeah, no, we're not going to be letting you be prepared. So once people start seeing and hearing this, let me know. Got a few folks on Instagram trying to show what a pro I am and not let this rattle me. But, you know, things happen sometimes. At least it happened before I shared it all. I guess that's the lemonade here. So once you get on, let me know, and I will. We'll get into it. Antonio says hi. Hi, Antonio. Hope you're doing well. Michael says hi. What's up, Michael? What streaming software are you using? I am using StreamYard.com. I'll drop a link here for you in just a minute or two. I wish it would put that on the screen or something because I get asked that every time, which is good because it's a good product. You folks on Instagram. Craig says, hi, Chris. I hope you're well. I am, other than the little snafu that we had a minute ago. That was unpleasant. But, you know, like I said, a friend of mine who lives in another building, I just saw her post that she was in an elevator when the power went out. So at least it wasn't that, because elevators terrify me to begin with. Ross says, hello, Chris. What's popping? Well, a minute ago, it seems like a circuit breaker or something did. Because right when I hit live, the power went out. I mean, is that enough evidence to conclude that it was me that caused it? Or is that circumstantial? But I'm trying to recover like a boss. Because sometimes things suck and we have to deal with them, you know? So what's popping with you? See, I'm trying to sound cool and probably failing. I think I probably earned an okay boomer just then if anybody wants to hit me with that. So. Yeah. All right, let me see. One more thing. Hi, Chris. Good afternoon. Morning from down under. Hey, Brian. Always a pleasure. Arslan says, hey, hello, Chris. Today you're looking like SEO king. Thank you, I think. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much. Tomislav says, hello, Chris. Hey, what's up, Tomislav? Always a pleasure. Hope you're doing well. For whatever reason, I always feel the need to show off that I know things about Serbia when I talk to you, and I don't know why. Let's edit the email, and then I think we're done. Ross says, not much. Been swamped with repair work this week, trying to sort out a friend's e-commerce website, so he has a revenue stream. He works in fitness and currently has nothing coming in. That's rough. Yeah, I don't really know I mean, I guess there are things you could do, Zoom broadcasts and things like that. But yes, that's one of the industries that's really taking, I was going to say something gross, really taking a pounding. Brian says, what's a boomer? I know you're okay, but boomer, oh yeah, it's basically a way of calling somebody old. Like baby boomer. So when somebody says something that makes them sound old, you call them a boomer, say okay boomer, because they're being a baby, acting like an old person, and most boomers are old now. So it's funny, I have one friend, Michael, who in the same week called me a millennial and a boomer, and I'm neither. So that's I found that funny. Your mileage may vary. All right. Almost done with the sharing. Oh crap, I gotta update the YouTube URL as well. Oh boy. Brian says, got it. Yeah, it's not very, it's really not very nice. Thomas Hobbs says, that's cool. Not so many people know stuff about Serbia. I am looking forward to tomorrow. Quarantine is finally over. After 84 hours, my fridge is getting empty. Yeah, Georgia was telling me about that, and that it sucks, basically. So the U.S. has a lot of problems. That's one thing I'm happy about, is that the quarantines haven't been that, I don't want to say, I guess severe would be the right word. I'm not sure. On Instagram, Amitra Cool says, hello. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. TJ says, hey, Chris, I'm not sure if my new service is in the correct category. I'd be happy to take a look if you want to share it with me, or you can always ask support if we don't get around to it. Support is there for you almost 24 hours a day. Occasionally we are human. So we do have times when somebody calls out or something, and we all kind of have to scramble to cover for them. But for the most part, they're there for you 24 hours. Sure, TJ, just drop the link and I'll be happy to take a look. And there goes the email. So we got a lot of folks on, despite my unfortunate situation to start this session. So you know what? When life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. Unless you don't like lemonade, then you have to make the best of the situation and not use an analogy. So let's move the microphone closer so you can hear my completely unsexy voice. Show. Post. All right. Yeah, just go ahead whenever you're ready, TJ, and I'll be happy to take a look for you. And anybody else has anything they want to talk about, as part of the usual? I said the usual again. Somebody stop me. We will be happy to cover anything on any topic anyone wants to talk about. So you move that over so I can see the questions, and then stop narrating literally everything that I do. So on a scale of A to F, what would you give me on my recovery here? I think I did okay. I'm clearly a little rattled, but nothing too bad. So grade me. I think the YouTube chat is blocking my link. Here's the title of my service. Extensive list of highly relevant and popular YouTube videos with monetization. That's kind of unique. Ross says B+. So I guess something under internet marketing and probably video marketing. I suppose that could make sense. Maybe lead gen. If you want to PM me the link on Facebook, I'd be happy to take a look and be more specific. But it sounds a little. I get what you're saying. It's a little tricky, So Ross, I'll take that B+. A passing grade. Let's see. I think that's all the sharing I need to do. All right, guys. So, yeah, I think we are in business now. And now I'm running into this thing where, like, sometimes in life when you have something go wrong, or if you have like repeated things go wrong and you're putting out fires a lot, you when the fires are all out, you almost like don't know what to do. And that's kind of how I'm feeling now. So Ross says that's all you're getting. There's no extra credit. Well, that's just mean. Brian says, can you have the same service in different categories? No, there's no option to add it in multiple categories. Maybe that's something we should consider. But my fear with that is people will just spam it into all categories. And then, we have to go in and moderate that. So I think you just get as close as you can get. Because I get what you're saying. Some things could go in a couple different directions. But I think that's just going to cause too many problems if we try to make that a feature. So once again, thank people that will abuse things for us not being able to do something or taking too long to do something. The scary thing about the power going off was it took my internet a while to come back on. And I was literally about to go to my office, lockdown be damned, because I imagine going through this without internet. So the topic I chose for today was mostly for YouTube SEO, but it's freelancing versus digital marketing agency. Those are kind of like, in my opinion, the two quickest ways to start making money if you want to start making money online. And I'm trying to find a nice way to say this. A lot of people that consider what they're doing to be an agency is actually just a freelancer as well. So that's just a distinction in what they're doing by thinking of it that way, right? Is that they're limiting the amount of places they can get work from. So for example, I've gotten a lot of work over the years from people that bought like a $5 or $10 or even $100 freelancing service that have since gone on to be monthly retainer clients. I think that it really depends on where you see yourself. Like if you want to have an office and a staff and go meet people in person and make deals and things like that, then an agency is for you. And remember though, if you just start picking up the phone and calling people and sign 4 or 5 SEO clients, and you're still working from home or you don't have a staff or anything like that, you're still a freelancer, whether you want to call yourself that or not. And that's okay. But I think that freelancing is by far the quickest way to get started. I think it's probably the most flexible. It doesn't have some of the perks of owning like a business. Some people need that like brick and mortar big staff with holiday pay and all those things that come with that. Some people want that and need that, and I understand it. But overall, I think freelancing has a lot more ups than downs. The upsides to freelancing are the flexibility, the fact that you can be one and done with people if you choose to, the fact that you can, get your traffic from wherever you want, although you can also use marketplaces like Legiit to leverage, and get their traffic. Those are kind of the upsides. The downsides are it's not as predictable, and you don't have the prestige of being, a business owner if that's something that matters to you. The upsides to an agency are that it's, a little more viewed with a little more respect, although I feel like that's changing, but the overhead is just ridiculous. And remember, an agency, again, if you work from home or if you have like a little office, but it's just you and maybe even like one other person, for the most part, you're still a freelancer rather than an agency. So I think of the two, I do both, so I think I can speak with a little authority, but I think that freelancing is definitely the place to start. And then it depends on your objectives. But even if you have an agency, you should have freelance options on Upwork, Legiit, and other marketplaces, because there's a lot of leads that you can pull in from there, and a lot of talent you can find from there too. So I think that's kind of like the parallel between the two, and kind of what the value versus the value. I'm not sure if I explained that well, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you rather be a freelancer with the freedom to do whatever you want, and get traffic from other people and, get prices? Or would you rather have like run like a traditional agency with a building and a staff and a break room and in-person meetings and clients and things like that. Let me know what you guys think. What do you prefer? What's better? What's worse? And so on. Anthony says, sorry I'm late. Was on a call, Chris. Oh, no worries. If you actually missed the beginning of this, I literally hit go live, started talking, and my power went out. So it took me 10, 15 minutes to get everything back to get back to where we once belonged. Little Beatles reference there for you. Rich says, freelance freedom. Definitely. That'd be a good course name. Curtis says, need to do it all. If you're not diversified, you will fall with changes to the market. I definitely agree. That's why I do both, among other things. Brian says, freelancer at this stage. Anthony says, pay your bill then. Actually, my electric bill is very, very cheap. It's like $50 a month or sometimes less. Funny thing, though, is I have a friend who lives in another building in my apartment complex, and I saw in chat that she was stuck in the elevator when the power went out and was in there for like 5 minutes. So thank goodness I live on the first floor because I am terrified of elevators to begin with. And getting stuck in one with the power out is literally like my worst nightmare. Some people don't like spiders or snakes or whatever. For me, it's elevators. It's not even heights, it's elevators. And that would be like my nightmare come true. So thank goodness that wasn't me. And thank goodness the internet came back on because my God. Janet says, hi. Hello, Janet. Good to see you today. Good number of people on today. I'm happy about that. On Instagram, Freelancer Saror says, heart eyes. Here it is, Freelancer Saror. I've seen you on Facebook as well. Glad you could join us today. Always a pleasure. Mahmoud, I apologize if I butchered that, says, I believe in the agency, you have the manpower needed for big projects and boost the ranking fast. I don't know about fast, but you definitely have like manpower and long-term relationships and contracts and all those things. And I absolutely get the appeal to that. So that's a good point. Kathy says, hi, Chris. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you today. Rich says, would you trust yourself driving cars? Yeah, I drove a little bit earlier today. I'm not sure what you're asking me there. Yeah, I drive cars. I feel like I'm missing something from that question, though. So what's going on, guys? I hope everybody's keeping busy, keeping safe, keeping healthy. I don't know, maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but I just feel like things are trending better in the world right now. Not good, but better than they were at this time in March. Maybe I'm wrong. Self-driving cars. Would I trust self-driving cars? I misread that. I thought you said, would I trust myself driving a car? That's funny. At least I think it is. Eventually, yeah. I don't know that they're there yet, but yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of technology at all. Except for elevators. That's an irrational fear. So yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know if they're there yet. Maybe they would be. Maybe they are. I don't know. But yeah, I will eventually. My cousin, may he rest in peace, was telling me about having been in, I think it's like a Tesla that does that, and he really thought it was a cool experience. So I would try to it. Jade says, are the beaches beginning to open over there? I think so. As I understand it, they're going to this week. Adam says, good evening. Good evening, Adam. You're way behind today. Curtis says, totally agree that things are getting better, but it's going to be a long road to recovery, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. This isn't something you just get over. It's not like a bad relationship where you can just get over someone by getting under someone. This is a long time thing. John says, I've worked for 2 agencies, presently 2, and without talking myself out of a job, I get the appeal for clients going to agencies, but if I had to recommend to someone, I'd say research and go freelancers. That's a great way to put it. Like as a client, I totally get it too. You feel comforted by the great big office, not even great big office, but the office and the credibility and the staff and things like that. But I also agree that, that it's better to start with freelancing. Considering your elevator thing, yeah, I get what you're saying, Rich. I don't know why elevators bother me, but they always have. Come on, man. You've asked me this a million times. Basically, I'll do my best, but like I said, it's going to change. So, yeah. Let me bring you up one on the screen here. So, Adam says, unfortunately, came late. Don't worry, buddy. It happens to all guys eventually. Oh, that's not what you meant. Boom, boom. And so much for this being PG. Mahmoud. Again, I apologize. What is the best way to build network helping to enlarge backlink campaign results? I have my own. I guess it's just to continue to do outreach, assuming you're talking about guest posts and things like that. Can you maybe clarify your question? But yeah, doing good outreach and researching competitors' backlinks and just having some known good sources. You can always buy them as well. Shoot. Curtis says acquire domains with high DA. Harry says, what's the best way to get clients? That's different for everyone. For some people, it's picking up the phone and dialing. I did my best Wolf of Wall Street there. For others, it is cold emailing. That's what I had a lot of success with back in the day. Some people are good at social media selling. So cold outreach on on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm not a big fan of that because a lot of Sam Ovens type people, not Sam himself, but his students ruined LinkedIn outreach, in my opinion. What else? When the world is normal, I think that in-person marketing is really, really powerful. Somebody on Instagram says they're watching from Nigeria. Well, thank you for watching. So it really just depends on you. For me, my favorite method is what you're seeing right now. I call it the celebrity method, and that's putting out content, creating value, as much as I hate that expression, and things like that. So that's kind of the answer there. It really just depends on you, your skill set, and what you're comfortable in your situation. So like when I was working at my job, I had to do cold email on LinkedIn because obviously I can't pick up the phone and dial or go to meetings when I still have a job. Now I do what I call the celebrity method. So Kamar says, what new features are coming to Legiit? Well, that's a secret, man. I wouldn't get to be able to do my Vanna White and reveal them live when that happens. All right, so I'm going to bring up a test Legiit account here, and I'm going to explain this as best as I can, but this is kind of pointless because we have a new design ready to go that's going to make change these labels and make this a lot more easy to understand. So, and keep in mind, this is not my real account or anything like that. It's just it's the admin account, which has just done some stuff. It's mostly illegitimate. Net income is everything that you have made. Withdrawn is pretty straightforward. That's how much you have taken out. Pending clearance is any orders or affiliate orders that have been placed that are either in new or active or delivered or completed, but not out of escrow yet. Escrow I'll explain in a second. So this means that there's $163 of orders that aren't done. Escrow is when an order is completed. There is a 5-day escrow before you can withdraw it. So somebody ordered from you, they did the work, or you did the work, you delivered it, they marked it complete, then it goes into escrow for 5 days, and then after 5 days, it becomes available for withdrawal, which is kind of that number there. Affiliate is what you've earned through affiliate commissions, and this account is entirely affiliate. And available for withdrawal is how much you have to withdraw. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that answered what you were looking for. Like I said, though, this is going to get much clearer pretty soon. So yeah. So let's stop sharing. I can't see my mouse. There we go. So I hope that helps some. But yeah, I can't tell you the new features that are coming. That's one of my great joys in life, is teasing them. Kamar said, not Kamar. Mohammed said, I tried to build my own PBN and I stuck with Google Search Console as they refuse to clear the domains from spam list. So sites don't meet Google Webmasters guidelines. So you're saying that you bought some and they had a manual penalty and they refused to move it. Yeah, occasionally, I mean, I've gotten pretty good at it now, and that doesn't come up very often. But in the past, if I happened to buy a domain that did have a penalty and I tried to remove it, it never worked as far as like PBN domains. So yeah, I get you there. You're going to have to like either improve your process or something, you know? Kamar says, thanks for explanation. No problem. Like I said, it's going to get smoother. By the way, I sent you a message on Legiit, so you may want to check that out. Soren, I love that name. Soren says, hi, Chris. Looking into creating some assets for yourself as a freelancer. Would you still consider a private blog network worth starting? If so, how long would you build content and backlinks before selling from it? Also, what service would you use while growing to avoid leaving footprints, etc., as your numbers of domain increases? As long as you keep good practices in place, you know, different hosts, IPs, registrars, not linking to the same site from the same PBN too many times or at all, really, and making the sites look good, you should be good. Honestly, as long as your PBN is indexed and you can like kind of gauge that it'll be effective, you can start as soon as it's ready to go. And then just kind of keep pace with it, you know, and you don't want to overextend and buy like a huge hosting package. I would have like 5 or 10 PBNs ready to go before I started selling them, and then just kind of do that. But just as far as the network growing isn't going to cause any more footprint issues, as long as you're smart and don't like link to, like if you get a repeat customer, you don't use the same PBN to link to their site again, things like that. So that's one good piece of advice. Another is to just kind of keep track of stuff. Georgie actually created like a software that we use to keep track of what customer ordered what PBN they went on, what site we linked to, what anchor we used, the whole thing. He's a brilliant kid. I hope he doesn't see this. I don't like to compliment him too much, but so that's kind of what we do. So I think I answered that. If not, let me know and I'll clarify for you. Great questions today. I'm gonna grab a drink of water while there's a break in the questions. Let me see what we got on Instagram. So while we got a break in the questions, let me answer this message. John says, what do you think about, I guess, say to people who shame others who buy links? I think that they are more interested in how pure, white hat, pure ethical they are than getting their clients results. That's what I think. I think that they're the SEO equivalent of people that liked the band before they were famous. And they probably go to Starbucks and listen to John Mayer CDs and things like that. I think that they just are more interested in how cool they are than how successful they want to be. Now, having said that, it's a perfectly acceptable point of view. You know, if that's how they feel, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't see why they think that writing content for search engines is more ethical than building links for search engines. At the end of the day, all of us are trying to manipulate somebody else's platform. Sorry, what software was that? I don't think I mentioned a software, did I? With blog network. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned a software. If I did, clarify what it was about. Brian says, I've put job proposals to a number of jobs, but haven't heard anything back. The oldest ones are 4, 6, 8 April. Yeah, one thing we're going to have to put in place, I think, is time limits where people have to either award it or it gets removed. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about that, unfortunately. Maybe they you may need to work on the way you present to them. So, like, how you explain that you're a good person for the job, it may be a part of that. It may just be that they haven't checked, things like that. So, was the custom one your friend? Oh, it's not for sale. George A, who works on my staff, he's the director of operations at Legiit. He built and I don't know, maybe he'll sell it at some point, but he built an internal thing that we use that has like it's like a database type thing where you can track your PBNs really extensively. I'll talk to him and see if I know he thought about making it public at one point. So I'll see if there's interest in that, and we'll go from there. But right now it's not available to the public. Some guy who created, as I heard it, software to keep track of which clients got links from. Yeah, that's Georgi Jovanovic, who works on my staff. And he built something that we use internally. He hasn't released it to the public yet, but I will mention this to him and see if it's something he wants to do. But you could do the same thing with like Google Sheets or so on. Or not so on, or whatever, you could do the same thing. This is just, we have such a large network and so many customers now that we needed something. And it literally took him, I want to say 6 months of coding and stuff like that to build it on his own. And just to show you what a great team member he is, I don't like the word employee. He did all of that in his spare time, all like off the clock. And just because it would make his job better and make us a better business. So those are the kind of people that you want to look for to bring onto your team. He is a unicorn though. So you may not get that fortunate with your first hire. He was my first hire ever. Great kid. Mohammed says, thank you. Soren says, cheers. Thanks, gentlemen. Good turnout today, which is a freaking miracle because considering the snafu at the beginning. What do you think about Google manipulating Corona search results? I think it's necessary because you get asshole SEOs trying to rank, coronavirus cure and then like selling them krill oil and things like that. I think with health issues, I think it's important that Google be responsible about things like that, because I remember a few years ago, a relative of mine had a different type of health condition. And I was like Googling different, pieces of information about it. And all I could find were freaking affiliate sites that were trying to sell some product or another. So I didn't know if I could trust the information on them. So with something this severe, I think it's important that they do monitor and filter it. So that may not be popular with First Amendment advocates or even other SEOs, but I think it's the responsible thing to do. They have a similar thing with suicide. If you put in if you search any term that has like suicide or self-harm or anything like that, the first result is always going to be the National's, whatever it's called, suicide hotline or whatever, no matter what. So I think it's the right thing to do. Brian says, thank you. Thank you, Brian. If you want to like PM me an example of what you're sending to folks, I'd be happy to take a look. I did see the one that you sent me for the Shopify redesign. To be honest, I'm probably going to go with someone that's more experienced. I haven't found anyone just yet, but no offense, but I'd rather, this is for somebody that's important to me. So I would like to do a great job for them. Not that I don't think you would, but I want to go with someone that has some experience. So forgive me if that's insulting. I don't mean it to be. Imran says, if you're doing local, what's the percentage of conversion will be from your GMB and from your website? I mean, nobody knows for sure except for Google, I guess. I mean, even they probably don't. But I think it's probably going to vary per niche, especially I think emergency type things. The maps are going to help. If it's a niche where people are going to want to learn a little bit more about a product or service before making a purchase, then it's going to be the website. So like if it's like an elective surgery, like a cosmetic surgery or something, I think that the website's probably going to do better. But if it's like an emergency type service, like a burst pipe or something, I think that Maps is going to do better. That's completely that's completely opinion. I don't know. I don't have any stats to back that up, but that's what I think. Curtis says, I see, makes sense. It seems they are in the pocket of the Chinese, in your opinion, not allowing dissenting opinion. I don't know. There may be some political stuff going on there. I don't know. I just think that it's irresponsible of them to let health issue. Somebody shouldn't be able to rank an article for something that could impact someone's health because they happen to know how to do SEO. That's my opinion. All my Zinger memes don't rank like the non-Corona ones. Interesting. Super Satya says, thoughts on rank and rent. I'm not a fan personally. I know that it can work well. at least temporarily, but overall I don't care for it. And the reasons are these. The first is you have to do all the work to get it ranked before you can sell anything. I don't like that. As opposed to with a client, you can take it on, you can sell them and then start work. I don't like that it makes people lazy about SEO. So particularly like the mass page types, they use a plugin to poop out a few hundred or a few thousand pages. The ones that rank, and they think that that's SEO, and that's not. They don't know how to go and rank the difficult ones. So I'm not a big fan of it. I also think it's kind of gimmicky and hard to explain if you're doing the like iframe somebody else's site over it type of thing. So I'm not a fan of it, but I know people that do well with it, and I used to mess around with it some too. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not my preference. It's great to get people to draw people into SEO though. Brian says, I realized it was basically testing the system. Cool. All good. Go good. Appreciate that, Brian. You know what I'm going to be interested to see is it doesn't seem that there is a correlation between the number of views one of these live streams has when it becomes a video later and the amount of people that were actually on at the time. So we got a good live crowd today. So I'm going to test that when we get done and see if that matters. Because like yesterday, it was like nobody on, and it has nearly 1,000 views the last time I looked. So it's very odd to me. A little bit of water there. Anuj just joined. Well, what's up, Anuj? Always a pleasure. My fellow superstar SEO moderator. All right, we're caught up on questions. We covered today's topic. What else can we get into today? Lots of folks on, so I want to keep this train going. If people have things they want to discuss, ask, talk about, ponder. I can't think of anything else. Any other synonyms? So, I might get to unveil a new thing on Legiit here live. Give me just a second. One second here, guys. Oh, that's adorable. All right, I'm going to show this off live. You guys get to see something. It's just a little UI tweak, but I think it's awesome. We're going to show it here live for the first time ever. So let's bring up Legiit. All right, so we're going to go to a category. And again, this is just a UI tweak, so don't get too... And then we're going to take, let's say, most popular, and watch the animation. How cute, how cool is that? Let's pick it again in case you didn't see it. That makes me so happy. That makes my day. So everyone, please tag Jim Sabellico and thank him for making that possible. I think stuff like that is so cool. I should probably get out more, but I think that was badass. All right, so... let's see, Brian. Jade says a lot of guys got cut from WWE, huh? Backstage and athletes. Yeah, unfortunately. That's kind of the case around the world right now. But yeah, that sucks. Jackie J says, hi, what do you suggest for a complete newbie? I want to learn how to optimize people's websites and blogs on Google. I'm going to go ahead and drop you a link in the chat. Well, I'm going to drop you two, actually. The first thing is I have an SEO 101. Well, the first thing is how to learn SEO. Like not necessarily how to do it, but like literally how to learn it. I'm going to drop you a blog post I wrote on that. And then I'm going to drop you my SEO 101 series and our free SEO course. So, and I don't want this to sound like I'm just pitching you stuff, but those are kind of the steps that I'm very receptive to the fact that people that want to learn things get overlooked a lot. So I've made an effort to create assets for folks that need that. So now I'm going to link you to a YouTube series I did. Training. And then a couple other things that might help as well. Basically, though, you want to start by learning the fundamentals. For whatever reason people want to blow past that, and they end up not really knowing what they're doing and just kind of stumbling in the dark. So you want to pick up the fundamentals, and this will help with that. And then you can kind of expand, you know. But if you don't know how to like optimize the on page properly, I think that's probably the most important skill that people tend to blow over. And then you can go from there. One more link. There's a whole bunch of stuff for you, Jackie. That'll help you get started. I recommend first reading the blog post and then doing the SEO 101 training and then go from there. That's just my opinion. Others may vary, but yeah, I think that'll really help you get started. And join our Facebook group if you're not in it already, and we'll be happy to answer any questions or anything that comes up like that too. So Anuj says, all good, Chris. Thanks for asking. Good. Glad to hear it, buddy. Super Secha says, YouTube recommended this on my home feed and I wasn't even subscribed. So YouTube seems to be sending algorithm love your way. Awesome. That makes me so happy. That's a big fight with, building a YouTube channel. So I think these daily live streams are helping with that. And then that in turn lets me help other people, which is really, really important to me. So thank you for letting me know that. That's good to know. So I hope you'll subscribe now and click that notification bell though. No, for real, that's good to know. Thank you. That makes my day too. Maya said, hello, Maya. Good to see you again. Says, hi, Chris. I can't work on my clients' GMB accounts right now. So where is best to spend my efforts on their site? On-page SEO, backlinks? Definitely get the on-page dialed in right, because nothing else is going to matter, at least organically, if you don't get that right. So definitely get that like 100%. And then you can start with building your brand and building backlinks and things like that. So start with the on-page for sure. Get that like perfect. Utilize the fact that you can't mess with the GMB right now to get that tight. And then let's go from there. Brian says, do you use Pingler? Occasionally. I don't really find it does a ton of good, but it's nice to give Google a nudge that you'd like to get that link indexed. Ross says, love finishing touches like that. Yeah, me too. Me too. That makes like a psychologically a big difference, I think. Brian says, that's cool. Yeah, I thought so too. So thank you, Jim, for getting that done. Let's see. Rich says, have you ever seen one of those oversized video thumbnail results coming up in Google when searching for something? How does that happen? I had one for years for Pawleys Island water damage repair or something like that, and I accidentally deleted it. But the only way I've ever seen that it triggers that, I had that happen for 3 videos, and all of them were ones that Alex Becker showed on a webinar that he did. So I think it must have to do with click-through search from a particular term and then watching the video, but that's just a guess. That's the only thing I've been able to, the only consistent thing I've found between them. So overall, no, I don't know. And I don't know of anyone that would know. Jackie says, thanks so much. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Jackie says, cool, thanks. Thank you, Jackie. Brian says, Chris, I appreciate the fact that you don't overlook people that want to learn and that you supply information to help them, and the information is excellent. Well, thank you, Brian. That means a lot to me, because like I get so frustrated when I see like in the Facebook group somebody's like asks a super basic question and people make fun of them. And there's another group that like allows that, and I'll just leave it at that. And it's so frustrating to me that like, why would you ever want to hold somebody back from learning, you know? Imran says, is there any problem using same PBN for my local sites if it's in the same niche? I wouldn't go too crazy linking to the same sites from the same PBNs over and over again. You might be able to get away with it once or twice, but overall, I wouldn't do it too many times, because then it becomes a footprint, especially if your PBNs aren't as diversified as they should be. Curtis says, if you embed the videos on your site, that gives the video a backlink, just like any other site. Yeah, for sure. not sure what that's in response to, but that's definitely true. Curtis says, if it has good backlinks, it will rank page 1. Yeah, for the most part, I agree with that. YouTube, like its internal algorithm, though, it likes to see consistent content and is really momentum based. So that's that. Does anybody else do YouTube or like have a YouTube channel or anything like that and see these automatic comments that have been coming up lately? It says, good stuff, more content, please. Let's be friends. I've been getting those a lot lately. It's very, it's not that frustrating, but it's very dumb. All right. What else can we get into today? We have been here for 45 minutes, if you don't count the failed attempt 1. Got to stay hydrated. Craig says, yep, I get those on, darn it. I get those on every video. Oh, okay. Curtis says, yeah, meaning for the videos appearing in Google search. Yeah, but this isn't, he's not just talking about making it show up in search. Occasionally you'll get like this gigantic one at the top. Like if the rest of the page is like this, there's one like this at the top. I only see it from time to time, but that's what he was asking about. So that's cool to know. I didn't know if that had an effect. Scott says, love Legiit loading animation. Animations are fun, and he gives a link there. I get those too on my vids. Yeah, it's got to be some sort of software. I just don't know what it is. Maya says cool animation, and on-page SEO is the key to building a solid foundation, so thanks for confirming. And when your clients have a YouTube channel, I optimize the videos and link to them from their site. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great source of links. It's like a unstructured citation too, so you can put your nap in there. Carlotta says, hey Chris, about 2 weeks ago I had my first sale, and now 14 days later I have 14. I was wondering if you could have a look at my profile and tell me if there's something I can improve. /Lottie. Thank you. Sure. Drop the link and I'll be happy to take a look. Rich says, if too simple, don't worry about it. Quick explanation of do and no follow links. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter too much anymore because Google announced a few months back that they were changing the way they look at them. But a do follow link means that Google search engine crawler will come up to the page, find that link and go, hey, this link points over to this site. And then it'll follow to it. If it's no follow, it will go over to that page, say, hey, this link says no follow, and it'll stop right there. So that's kind of how that works. Basically, and it really has very little impact now, but there was a time when that made a huge difference. So like a link from Facebook would be no follow. So Google will stop when it hits that on Facebook and not follow it to your website. But if it was on like a blog or something, it would follow it and then kind of go out. And that's how it covers the whole web. But they changed the way that works. And that's kind of a very basic explanation, but hopefully that makes sense. Do you have any experience with building directory sites, and what are your best tips to build out the listings, etc.? So I do, and it's like one of the most popular videos I ever made, but the trick is, I think, is to do some good research ahead of time. And instead of building thousands of pages at once, is to find ones that you can rank and that you can get people to buy, or depending on how you plan on monetizing it, as opposed to just doing as many as you can, you know? So I think that's kind of the trick, is to do it strategically rather than spray and pray. So Curtis says you can put a no follow if you want to link to someone's site, but not give them a backlink. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing. That said, you know, Google said that they are only taking it as a suggestion as opposed to a rule now. Diogo says, hello, Chris. I, Digway, made another digital painting, but this time with Jim. Here's a link to the picture if you want to check it out. Sure. And I'll go back and find Scott's too, so I'm taking care of everybody. Shoot, let me see if I can't find Scott's link. Let's bring that up on screen. So that's Scott. If you you want to check that out, that's a logo or an animation he made. That's really cool. Now let's see if we can find Diogo's. Where'd it go? All right, there we go. That's awesome. That's really cool. It looks kind of like the Matrix, except Jim's nowhere near as handsome as Keanu Reeves or like anyone. Oh, burn. All right, now let's find Lottie's profile. At a glance, I like the thumbnails more or less. It has you in them, it has you smiling, and most of them looking at the camera. If I had one observation, it would be at a glance, I don't know what they do. So, for example, this one, the text is kind of small, so I don't know what that does. Although I guess the headline says I will write a 400-word article. I would change this headline that I will blank, almost never converts, although you have gotten a couple sales, so that's good. 28. See, this one needs a little, the headline needs a little bit of a fire added to it. So again, it's just describing what you'll do. So you want to like spice that up a little bit, I think. And this is Carlotta. And same thing here. I look at the thumbnail. I don't know what it does. Guest post on an EDU site with DA do follow. I think your headlines are going to need a little bit of work. Let's take a look at this one. I like the thumbnail there because, again, you're smiling and you're looking at the camera and things like that. I would work on the copy a little bit and explain why. I mean, I get you're trying to explain it, but I would go into a little bit more depth on how important these are and then go into what it does. Overall, it's not bad, but I think it needs a little more meat to it. Let's look at another one. Again, you get rid of that. Like come up with a catchier title. That's way too small. I get that you're going for a sample, but that's too small to read. And I have a giant screen. So yeah, I think that your main thing you need to work on is making more elaborate and more salesy sales pages. So, I mean, I like the graphics. They're visually not bad, but there's just not enough information on them and not enough persuasion, I don't think. So, and let's look at this one. Yeah, I think the sales pages just need to be more in depth. That's the main piece of feedback I would give you. This is a nice thumbnail. You know, it's a little hard to tell, but I guess that's fine. I want to go back. Okay. My name is Carlotta. I've been doing SEO freelancing for quite a long time. I might be new to Legiit, but I can show you refined, trustworthy, and professional work, as well as the satisfaction of your needs delivered. Clients appreciate my ability to learn quickly. Okay. Yeah, overall, I'd say you're in a good place, but the main thing I would work on is the sales pages themselves. So hopefully that helps some. Got a few folks on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. Craig says, great, thanks. Thank you, Craig. Let me stop sharing my screen now. So there we go. All right, guys, we got about 7 minutes left, and then we're going to wrap this up like a Christmas gift, or an analogy that was not as dumb as that one just was. I have a question for everybody. That's actually the dad joke of the day. Why does the Norway Navy have barcodes on the sides of their ships? So when they come back into port, they can Scandinavian. Ding! Thank you to Mrs. Sabelico for that particular dad joke. Brian says, hi, Chris. This came up in jobs. Not sure about it. Am I missing something? Looking for Google My Business Export or GMB Pro for routinely work, but need instant verification for Google My Business Postcard, especially for locksmith, garage door, and all other things. Can this be done at all? I think so. I don't know how they do it. I know that there's a lot of services that offer that, though. But I do also know that garage door and locksmiths are very difficult categories. I'm not a big fan of that type of GMB, but other people are. And much like the question earlier, it's not up to me to judge what techniques are good or are not good. So that's up to everyone else to make that decision for themselves. But it is possible. I don't know how to do it, though, and I don't want to learn. All right, fam, we got 5 minutes left. So anything you'd like to talk about, let me know. I do appreciate everyone sticking around and helping get through the problem we had in the beginning, the power going out. I like to think it's because so many people rushed to my live stream all at once that it crashed the power in my apartment building, because that holds up to logic. So let's see. Rich says, okay, if you're American before going into the bathroom and American when you come out, what are you while in the bathroom? I don't know, Rich. What am I? Brian says, without postcard. Yeah, there are ways to do it. I just don't know what they are. Maya says, thanks, Chris. Thank you, Maya. Always a pleasure. Rich says, European. Oh, and Instagram is done. Sorry about that, Instagram. I didn't see the timer. Not that you can hear me now. Boom, boom. Right. Down to about 4 minutes. And normally I would hang out longer because we got a lot of folks on still, but I do have another meeting that I have to get to that I've already delayed by a few minutes. Well, but we still will ride out the last 4 minutes before we wrap it up. Before we wrap it up like Cool Herc. Another terrible reference. Brian says, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Brian. Always a pleasure. Power this down so my phone battery doesn't die. Great session today. Man, I was like, when it crashed, I was like, oh, nobody's going to show back up now. But I think it went super well. And we had a lot of interaction, a lot of good questions. We had a new tweak on Legiit revealed here live. So this is why you should show up. Adrian says, keep safe, Chris. Learning. Thank you, Adrian. Ross says, when does a dad joke become a dad joke? I don't know, Ross. When does a dad joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. Oh, dear. Womp, womp, womp. And Dad Joke Mania is sweeping the nation. All right, guys, I got to run. We're going to have to cut this short now because my meeting from 3 o'clock that I had to push till now has a meeting at 3:30. So we're going to have to wrap this up. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Thanks for showing up. We'll do it again tomorrow sometime. So be on the lookout for that. And I appreciate all of you showing up and appreciate all of you in general. So figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. Take care and I'll see you soon.